Good morning. Thank you for joining us for this Hanamatsuri service. I'm joined by Alan Goto and my wife Gregory Gibbs here in the garden classroom of our temple annex. And we're going to record this Hanamatsuri service. And we appreciate your participation. I'm going to go out and ring the calling bell to begin our service. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. Namo Midabutsu, Namo Nabutsu, Namo Mitabutsu, Namo Nabutsu, Namo Midabutsu, Namo Nabutsu, Namo Midabutsu. Namo Midabutsu, Namo Nabutsu, Namo Nabutsu, Namo Midabutsu, Namo Nabutsu, Namo Midabutsu. Again, this is our Hanamatsuri service for 2022. We will be broadcasting this on our YouTube page on April 10th of 2022. I will dedicate the service to Hanamatsuri after chanting the Shishinrai, which is relying on Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Shishin kei ilei namo hyochiu hu Shishin kei ilei Namo shochiu ho Shishin kei ilei Namo hyochiu so. Today, on this occasion of the year 2022 Hanamatsuri service, the members of the Pasadena Buddhist Temple, our friends and our guests, reverently reaffirm our reliance upon the three treasures of the truth. We rely upon the Buddha, we rely upon the Dharma, we rely upon the Sangha. Namo Midabutsu, Namo Nabutsu, Namo Mitabutsu, Namo Nabutsu, Namo Nabutsu, Namo Mitabutsu, Namo Nabutsu. Those of you who wish to now, I'll ask you to join me in the chanting of the Juseige, the most beloved verse portion of the larger sutra on Amida Buddha. Busetsu Daimuryo Jukyo Juseige Gagoncho Thegan Hishimu Jodo Shiganhu Mandoku Tefujo Shogaku Ga Omuryo Ko Uindai Theishu Uthaisho Bingu Tefujo Shogaku Ga Shijo Butendo Myosho Jippo Kukyo Mishomon Tefujo Shogaku Ryoku Jin Shonen Joeshu Bongyo Shigumu Jodo Isho Teninshi Jinnariki and Daiko Hushomu Taido Shoujo Than Kumyo Kothai Shu Yakunan Kaiichi Egen Meshikon Moan Heisokusho Akudo Tsudaten Shumon Kotojo Mandoku Ioro Jippo Nichigaten Shujuki Tenko Onhugen Ishukai Hodo Koseku Dokuho Jo Odai Shuchu Saposhi Shiku Kuyo Ithayabuten Gusokushu Tokuhon Ganne Shnyoman Tokui Sangayo Nyobuten Mugechi Tudaten Mi Husho Gangaku Erikitoshi Sai Shoson Shiganyako Ka Daithen no Kando Koku Sho Tenin To Chinmyoke Namandabu 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 Ganniya Shikudoku Byodo Sei Isai Dohon Modai Shin Ojo On Ra Koku Namandabu Ramanda Namandabu 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 Ramanda Namo Amirabutsu Namandabutsu Namo Amirabutsu Namandabutsu Namo Amirabutsu Namandabutsu. I will then ask you to join me in the reading of the Golden Chain. That'll be page 8 if you have the OCBC service book, and I believe you'll see it on your screen. If not, the Golden Chain. I am a link in Amida's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I will keep my link bright and strong. May I be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. May I do pure and may I think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amitabutsu, Namo Ndabutsu, Namo Amitabutsu, Namo Ndabutsu, Namo Amitabutsu, Namo Ndabutsu, Namo Ndabutsu. Well, I hope you all sing loud there at home in front of your computers, because otherwise you'll have to listen to me singing in Lumbini's Garden, which is a little high for me, but we're going to do it. On a count of 3 or so, we will sing in Lumbini's Garden. 1, 2. Softly blew the breezes on that glorious morn in Lumbini's garden, where Siddhartha was born. From the earth sprang flowers, birds in warbles sang. Through the earth and heavens, strains of music rang. Gods and men and angels, all for worship came. Glory to Siddhartha, glory to his name. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Anda Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Anda Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Anda Butsu, Namo Anda Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Anda Butsu. Well, thank you for bearing with me, and I will now give a Dharma message. Alan and Kyoko are a good 35 feet away from me, so forgive me for not masking right now. I hope you will hear me. Alan just gets better and better. Alan and Kathy Kumagai get better and better at putting the tech together for us. This again is our Hanamatsuri service, and this is about the third time, and it'll be four before this happens, that there are two different messages. I am delivering two different messages on the same topic at the same time. Even the Buddha didn't do that. But I am at the Pasadena Buddhist Temple right now as you watch this on YouTube, delivering a different Hanamatsuri message to the people who are able to attend. But we don't have the capacity to live stream the first couple weeks of April, so we're recording this ahead of time for Hanamatsuri for those who cannot make it to the temple. And we appreciate your watching at home and participating in this service that Alan Goto, Kathy Kumagai, Kyoko Gregory Gibbs, and I are preparing for the Pasadena Buddhist Temple, which again we expect to be broadcast on April 10th of 2022. Here at the Pasadena Buddhist Temple, now here in 2022, I'm speaking at the same time giving two different messages for Hanamatsuri, and I've given 7 Hanamatsuri Dharma messages in the past here already. So today, my emphasis will be on the fact that Shakyamuni Buddha, whose birthday we celebrate today, was a very special person, but you and I don't have to be. We can be regular guys and gals. He was special. Shakyamuni was an especially smart, well-educated, discerning, reflective man who was deeply motivated to see the truth about life and to live well in the face of it. He was special, so that we don't all have to be. He had lived up to his 29th year a highly protected life. He had been confined to the palace grounds. We picture it as being rather large grounds, but they didn't let people come near him if they were sick or elderly. Because his father had been told by a sannyasin. Sannyasin means a forest-dwelling spiritual seeker. And his father, King Suddhodana, had been told by a forest-dwelling truth seeker or holy man that Shakyamuni would either become a very great king or a very great religious leader. So naturally, King Suddhodana wanted Shakyamuni to become a great political leader, in the spheres of politics and power, and to succeed him as the regent of Madhya, principality there in northern India, part of present-day Nepal. So the Buddha-to-be's father asked the soothsayer, what will determine which path he follows? And the holy man told King Suddhodana that Prince Siddhartha would become a spiritual leader if he became aware of the extent of suffering in life. This is why his father arranged a very protective life for him within the palace grounds. I know it's hard for us to picture him being confined for 29 years, but just about 200 years ago, my teacher's teacher's teacher in Tai Chi, a similar thing happened. He was a party boy at college, went off to college, he was drinking too much, he was hanging out with the loose ladies. So his dad invites him back home and has him come to the garden to be served tea. And then after they have tea, his father says to him, you're going to stay here for 2 years in the garden, and we'll bring you food, and you can practice Tai Chi, or you can just sit there. But you're not leaving the garden for the next 2 years. And he actually did that. He knew, of course, the Chinese people, they knew this story about the Buddha, and they were following the pattern, and it worked. Yang Luhan had nothing else to do for 2 years, so he practiced the Tai Chi and became probably the most adept practicer of Tai Chi Chuan who ever lived. Well, this is what the Buddha's father was thinking. We're going to stick him here, and he's going to be the kind of guy I want him to be. We're not going to let him see old people or sick people. You're not going to let him know that humans die. So the Buddha-to-be, Siddhartha Gautama, led this very protective life for 29 years, and in his 29th year, the same year that Shinran left the monastic complex at Mount Hiei, seems to be a kind of a very important time in our life, late 20s, early 30s. So at the age of 29, Siddhartha Gautama ventured out of the palace grounds, and having a good look around the city, Shakyamuni came back to the palace grounds, quite clear about the fact that life involves illness, aging, and death. He had seen corpses laying around. I told in present-day India that still happens. Poor people just die and their corpses are left there on the ground for so many days or weeks. He saw a corpse, he saw a sick man, he saw elderly people with osteoporosis. He became quite clear of what life is like for all of us. He also encountered, walking about Madaga's capital city there, he also encountered a sannyasin, assumedly not the same one his father had talked to 29 years before, 30 years before, but a sannyasin, a forest-dwelling spiritual seeker. And Shakyamuni saw a composure in this holy man. He saw a composure, a centeredness in this religious adherent. And the Buddha to be saw in this yogin, in this spiritual seeker, a path toward a solution. The human condition, looked at quite closely, cries out for a solution, a resolution. These sufferings and frustrations that our lives call for involve some kind of a resolution. The level at which our sufferings must be resolved, Shakyamuni realized, is what we call religiosity. It is in the spiritual dimension of our lives that we must come to terms with aging, illness, and death, and our need for composure, centeredness, clarity. We need these things. We need composure. We need clarity. We need to get away from the suffering. We need to find out how to cope with aging and illness and our eventual death. Discovering resources for composure, finding centeredness, coming to genuine clarity on the deepest questions about life, this all required the efforts of a special person, an especially gifted person, the Buddha to be, Gautama Siddhartha, as he was known before his awakening, Shakyamuni, as you can refer to him at any point in his life. Shakyamuni, the sage of the Shakya clan, Shakyamuni, was especially gifted, remarkably capable person. He was able to unveil the deep truths about our lives. He and his students and their students have elaborated and clarified these insights for 2,500 years now. Some of those elaborations carry the truth to very average people. For example, karma is what you do comes back to you. The simplest version of karmic law is what goes around comes around. Pretty much anyone can understand this. The Buddha included in his large group of teachings such as karmic law, which can be understood by everyone. A very average person can understand that what goes around comes around. Of course, none of us want to think of ourselves as average. You remember the old public radio TV program, Garrison Keillor and Lake Wobegon, which he said was a community where all the children are above average. All the children can't be above average because they determine the average for Lake Wobegon. But anyway, we don't like to be average, think of ourselves as average, but we're not, most of us, stunning geniuses. And I think the Buddha was, Shakyamuni was. It required real genius to see deeply into the nature of the lives that we live. To see clearly that we are each participating in one another's lives is a deep insight. To see that it means that we do not live separate or separable lives, to see this for oneself directly requires powerful discernment. The Buddha had that discernment. The Buddha was a rare fellow, a highly developed person. But over the course of 25 centuries, these truths have been voiced in many ways. The deep truths the Buddha and his top students and the other top students came to understand were expressed in ways that even average persons can understand, or persons like each of us, not average, but not geniuses either. There are ways that persons like each of us can understand this teaching. We can understand. In the 1950s and 1960s, some of our members of the Buddhist Churches of America, our 60-member our 60-temple member organization, which they say involves about 15,000 people now. I think it's more than that, but our organization back in the 50s and the 60s, there are two ladies who are both gone now, Kimi Hisatsune and Jane Imamura, who wrote some very simple songs that we still use. We didn't sing one today, and Lumbini's garden is even older, but about 60 years ago, Jane and Kimi wrote a number of English language-based songs to be used in our services. And one of Kimi Hisatsune's lyrics goes, "Swim, swim, little fish, Buddha loves you, little fish, swim, 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 swim." The subtlety of that lyric probably does not elude you. Yet it expresses a deep truth. Out of the depths of reality emerges a caring for all living beings. From an enlightened perspective, the feelings of the fish, the life of the fish, has value and importance. This truth is not known to everyone. The importance of the lives of other animals is not taught by most religions. Animals are here for us to use, according to the Abrahamic religions. Abrahamian religions, as they call them. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam all talk about animals as being for us, given by their God to us for our food and our clothing and our use. And there are about 200 schools of Buddhism, about 200 schools of Christianity, and there isn't one Christian denomination that actually teaches in a doggy heaven. They don't have that in the Christian religion. All dogs, cats, and birds and little fish are welcome to swim into the great ocean of light that is the Buddha's Pure Land. They are. But there's no doggy heaven according to the Christian religion. Are we really inviting all the dogs and cats and birds and little fish to swim into the great ocean of light? Yes, we are. You bet they are welcome. The gate to the pure and luminous realm is wide open. All are welcome. Inclusiveness is of the essence of the Pure Land vision. Inclusiveness is the very nature of the pure realm. Diversity is the striking characteristic of life on earth. Inclusiveness of diversity is the striking fact about Buddhist tradition. The inclusive pronouns they, them, and theirs are probably the best ones to use for referring to the architect of the pure and joyous realm, Amida Buddha. But you can use he or she too. Not the Amida Buddha and not it. There is subjectivity pertaining to all Buddhas. They are not things. What does this mean? Well, it means a lot. How can something as vast as the Buddha of immeasurably great wisdom and inexplicably long life, Amida Buddha, also have a personal dimension? Well, that's a question we should ask them, him, when we swim into the ocean of light, along with the little fish. And we will one day swim into the luminous ocean of nirvanic light. And we will find our deceased mothers and fathers, our life partners there, enjoying a new life of no limits. We will discover that our deceased pets have not been excluded by the vast body of nirvanic light that we call the pure realm. What does this mean? It means a lot. We will find out what in the realm of utterly free and happy living, which we call the Pure Land. We will find out what it means that a realm of utterly free of discrimination embraces us. We will discover what a realm utterly free of discrimination is like when we enter it, and we will enter it. We will find out how it is that our deceased pets, our dogs, our cats, our birds, our little fish, are included in the pure realm when we take up temporary residence there. And all our residences are temporary. I remember Donna Mitoma reading a little devotional passage about 5 years ago from a monk who was saying, wherever you live now, even if you own your house, you should think of it as just like a hotel room that you're staying in tonight. That was his understanding of impermanence, sweet and direct, you know. All our residences are temporary. But once we've entered into the nirvanic realm of Amida's pure land, all our future residences will be clean, light, nurturing homes. We will still move, but never into the darkness and suffering again. We enter the pure realm as ordinary people. We enter that extraordinary and transformative realm that Amida Buddha has prepared for us. We are accepted and cared for as the rather ordinary guys and gals that most of us are. We become extraordinary. We become like our liberator. We become like the Buddha. We become like all the Buddhas. We become extraordinarily valuable, helpful persons, one of them. We become like them. We become one of them by being our ordinary selves. By being ordinary Homo sapiens who encounter the teachings of the Buddhas, we move into the light. This all became possible for us with the birth of that extraordinarily insightful person, Shakyamuni. About 2,500 years ago, we date it as April 8th. We're not sure. It appears to have been in the spring, about 2,500 years ago, in Madaga, principality that is now part of present-day Nepal. This is what we commemorate here today with our Hanamatsuri service. Thank you for joining us. Take care of yourself. Take care of everybody. Those who wish to, please join me in closing Kansho. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. Namo Amida Butsu, 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 Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much.